He says, I got gas for $2.04 the other day in Oklahoma. Nice try with your BS agenda post. Gas prices are down across the board. Yeah, no, they're not. And as a matter of fact, across the country, diesel prices are higher. In some areas, significantly higher. But premium gas is still higher than it was a year ago. So, yeah, no. But your punishment is very clear. You apparently live in Oklahoma. And for that alone, yeah, you're getting enough punishment. Because Oklahoma absolutely sucks. And just about every category you can think of. When it comes to anything as far as education, infrastructure, healthcare, yeah, Oklahoma is just a complete shit show.
The state of Oklahoma is now going to require new teachers to prove that they're loyal to Donald Trump before hiring them. Yeah, this is how crazy these MAGA lunatics are in the state of Oklahoma. Teachers from California and New York who want to work in Oklahoma public schools will be required to pass a certification test to prove that they share the state's conservative political values. Regardless of the subject or grade they teach, they'll have to show they know the biological differences between male and females and that they agree with the state's American history standards, which includes elements of a conspiracy theory that the 2020 election wasn't fair. They say that New York and California are teaching things that are, quote, antithetical to our standards. So I guess the standards in Oklahoma is conspiracy theory. And as has been pointed out correctly, Oklahoma currently ranks 50th last in education among U.S. states, 49th in ACT, 45th in SAT scores, 48th in reading, 44th in math, 46th in dropout rates, and more. So maybe Oklahoma should be focused on trying to make their education system better and actually help kids to read and do basic math instead of doing these dumb political litmus tests.
So Senator Mark Wayne Mullins posted this picture on X saying, God bless the great state of Oklahoma because, every county, as you can see, voted for Donald Trump. So because of that, let's compare two states that voted unanimously, one being Oklahoma that he said was this great state because they voted for Trump, and the other one being Massachusetts. First, let's compare Oklahoma. 44th in education, wow, 49th in healthcare, 44th in quality of life, and 50th in test scores. Top 10 worst in poverty. Wow, seems like a great state to live in. Next, we have Massachusetts. First in education, second in healthcare, first in quality of life, and first in test scores. Top 10 least in poverty. Seems like a pretty terrible state, honestly.
I really don't understand tariffs. Honestly, I just know they f***ed us up.
All we heard was drill, drill, drill during the election, and now all we're getting is drilled into the dirt with these prices.
If you could talk to President Trump directly right now, what would you tell him?
Should you want me to really say it on air? I say, you. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to any leader, but he's disrespectful to us, and he doesn't care.
The average American is struggling to make ends meet right now. And nobody wants to hear the war's almost over. Nobody wants to hear it's going to get better. You've had a year to make it better at this point. Make it better. Make America great again, right?
Hi, if you're from Oklahoma, you should pay attention to State Question 832 that's coming up June 16th. It's a bill that aims to raise the minimum wage from $7.25 an hour to $15 an hour by 2029. And it will give annual inflation adjustments starting in 2030. And if you've been watching the news this weather season, you've probably seen the advertisements telling you not to vote yes for this bill in June. And the advertisement likes to tell people that, oh, raising the minimum wage is going to hurt families. It's going to hurt old people. It's going to hurt Oklahoma. No, it is not. It's going to hurt rich people's profit margins because corporations do not want the minimum wage to go up. They are happy to pay you $7.25 an hour, which comes out to like $14,000 a year before taxes, which by the way, isn't enough to live literally anywhere in the United States. So this advertisement is literally being funded by corporations to make sure that the minimum wage doesn't go up so that people continue to struggle despite working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And the advertisement says things like, oh, it's going to raise the cost of groceries or any other commodities for Oklahomans. But the only reason the cost of those things would go up at all is because the corporation wants to keep its profit margins the same and making Oklahomans foot the bill for them having to pay their employees a slightly higher wage that also is still not livable. So do not believe the propaganda. It is not a bad thing to raise the wages for your fellow Oklahomans so that they can live a slightly better life. The corporations are going to weaponize people's ignorance about minimum wage and about how it affects the economy to get you to vote against your best interest, but I assure you it is in the best interest of Oklahomans to raise the minimum wage so that people can live a better life. So when they say the burger is going to cost $20, that is not true. And we know it's not true because the minimum wage at McDonald's and other countries is up to $25 an hour, and the burger is actually cheaper than it is here. So the truth is, they could raise the minimum wage to $25 an hour and still make a profit. They just want to exploit Oklahomans because our minimum wage is so low so that they can make even more money off of our fellow people. So make sure to go out and vote June 16th to raise the minimum wage and say yes to question 832. Thank you.
When people vote, they expect lives to get better. But what happens when higher prices, rising bills, and economic uncertainty continues? Some Oklahoma voters say they are asking tough questions. Is this what they voted for? Let's watch more clips, then we'll come back to talk about it.
The biggest con the government ever pulled on us was to convince us to work 40 plus hours a week, 5 days a week for 50 years, spending no time with your friends, your family, your passenger, your children, all to retire with a Social Security check that isn't even enough to pay 1 month's rent. The truth is we are all slaves to the system, yet they distract us with entertainment and games and overwhelm us with the fear cycle so that we just put our heads in the sand and continue to work, continue rushing around in life, never having a moment to look up and realize that we are all slaves in this system. A system that convinces you to work the majority of your life away, never spending time with your family, your children, and if you're lucky, retire at 65. And if you're even luckier, you get 1 more decade before you succumb to a lifetime of working. All so that a few powerful white men at the top get wealthy beyond belief so that they can live like gods amongst men. And then they accomplish this by convincing half the population that the oppressed minority is the reason your life is hard and not the wealthy minority, which is actually the reason for your struggles and pain. Your enemy is not your neighbor. Your enemy is not an immigrant. Your enemy is not someone with a different religion. Your enemy has always been and will always be the rich and powerful who pit us against each other so that we never rise up to overthrow the con men in business suits. Until women have true equality and true power over their own bodies, until native treaties are honored, until the mass thugs kidnapping and killing our people on the streets are brought to justice, until the Epstein files are released fully unredacted, so long as our tax dollars are spent on bombing children in the third world, so long as the modern day slavery in the form of the prison industrial complex is still standing, and so long as the military industrial complex takes priority over the well-being of our fellow Americans, I say we call for revolution.
In the 2024 U.S. presidential election, only 2 states voted unanimously, and what a difference in outcome. And while this video sounds political, it is not, so bear with me. Every single county in Oklahoma voted Republican, and every single county in Massachusetts voted Democrat. Oklahoma ranks near the bottom in education, healthcare, and quality of life. Massachusetts ranks near the top in education, healthcare, and quality of life. So, why is one group of people actively choosing a worse life for themselves and the other a better life for themselves? Well, not surprisingly, it comes down to culture. So if you're an American, put politics aside for a moment and check this out. Mary Douglas, a cultural anthropologist and social theorist, helps explain why these 2 groups of people see the world so differently. Oklahoma fits her hierarchical worldview. People want authority and tradition to keep order. Change or anything different is dangerous. Massachusetts fits the egalitarian worldview. People want collaboration and reform. Change and different ideas are desirable. Holstead, the cultural theorist, would describe Oklahoma as achievement-oriented, a culture of competition. There, people value strength, loyalty, and winning. You prove your worth by enduring, not by changing. Losing means weakness. Well, in Massachusetts, it fits Hofstede's nurturance orientation, a culture that values people, cooperation, and education. You prove yourself there by helping everyone get better, not by beating your opponents. It's the rising tide lifts all ships mentality. So, Oklahoma votes to preserve the system, even if it makes people's lives worse. Massachusetts votes to improve the quality of life. Both groups are protecting their way of life. They just have a different cultural perspective of what life is. And this is one of the great things about the United States. Individuals get to choose which state they live in.
Oklahoma has faced economic challenges for decades, including lower average income, healthcare access issues, and higher poverty rates compared with many other states. Supporters of President Trump argue his agenda focuses on tax relief, energy production, and reducing government regulation to strengthen the economy over time. Critics say many families are still struggling with the rising cost of groceries, housing, insurance, and other everyday expenses, making it harder to feel the benefits of economic policies. The truth is, no state's economy depends on one president alone. Energy prices, interest rates, inflation, state policies, and global economic conditions all play a role in what families pay every month. At the end of the day, voters usually judge leaders by one simple question: can I provide for my family, save money, and feel more financially secure than I did before? That's the standard every elected official eventually faces, regardless of party. What do you think? Are Oklahoma families seeing the economic improvements they hope for? Or are everyday calls still overweighing the process? Share your thoughts in the comments respectfully. And before you go, do well to like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next.